Afternoon, guys. It's Elvis Buck Creek Bushcraft. Today, what I thought I'd like to go over is how to use the hand drill friction fire technique. Now, this is one of the oldest and hardest ways of starting fire, but with proper technique and skill, you can do it very less labor intensive. Now, it was used primarily in arid, dry environments, but it can also be used in woodland environments like I'm in right now. And one of the key things you need to realize is moisture. If there's any moisture in your hand drill fire set at all, it will not work. Even if there's too much humidity in the air, your wood will absorb that moisture and keep you from getting an ember. And so I'll go over material selection first. The things that work great are Sotol, yucca, cottonwood, basswood, horseweed, goldenrod, thistles work. You can use bear grass. You can use sagebrush, seep willow, and those are just to name a few. My favorite is probably horseweed because it grows very abundant in my area, and it grows about the right diameter. It grows very long, straight, and like I said, it's abundant. For my fireboard, I prefer probably box elder or cedar. But with your spindle, the longer the better. I like mine to be about 2 foot long, and I like them to be about pinky width or smaller. With a fatter spindle, it's a lot easier on your hands. But it requires a lot more effort, a lot more energy. Whereas the skinnier spindle, it's rougher on your hands, but it requires less energy, and it gets an ember a lot quicker that way. And you want to be straight as possible, and you want to clear all the knobs off so it doesn't hurt your hand very much. And there's different types of spindles you can use. You can use what's called, I guess, a host spindle. You can take just a sapling like this, and one way is to baton an X, open that wedge up, and stick your hand drill plug inside of it. Here what I've done is I've actually sawed into the sapling and split off a flat section, and I've done the same thing to this piece of horseweed. I sawed down into it, split off a flat section, and I just lashed it with a whipping. So this way you can interchange your woods. If you can't find like a super straight piece of yucca or whatever, you can use this and you can interchange the woods. I can use mullein, horseweed, yucca, Sotol, whatever. I can just lash it to this green stick. It can still be used. Also, you can make like a chuck like this. This is just a piece of wood that's been sawed off and put a hole through it. A hole's been drilled through it. And I've got horseweed jammed in this end, and I can jam the other end into this, and now I can interchange the bits as well. So I can use it just like this. Or you can do the lashing technique, which I have on this end. Now your fireboard, this one's made out of box elder, but you want them less than ½ inch. Anything over ½ inch, you have to work really hard. So I'd say between ½ inch and a 1/4 inch is good. And here we go. And then we'll talk about proper technique and form. Now there's three techniques commonly used. You can take your fireboard and you can wedge a heavy rock on top of it, and then you can just get on your knees and go down like this. Another technique is the same as if you're going to do a bow drill. That's to put 1 foot on the fireboard like this, and then drill. And another common one is to actually sit and place your foot on the board and drill this away. I prefer this method if it's a set that I know will work, that maybe I've used before, because it doesn't require as much, it requires a little bit more energy. Whereas if you're up like this, you can kind of put your body over the spindle, and you can put down more force on your spindle. Now, when you're drilling, you want to use the full length of your spindle. So you want to go from fingertip to fingertip, because that way you get more rotations and it spins faster. But also, it spreads the workload over your entire hand. Whereas if you just do your palms, it'll cause blisters a lot faster that way. And when you're doing it, you want to keep your hands in a nice relaxed position like this. You don't want to splay your hands out like this. What it does is it tightens the skin on your palms and it gets rid of all that natural padding that your hand has, and it causes blisters a lot easier that way as well. And another key thing about the hand drill is you have to have proper friction and traction on your spindle, because if your hands are sliding down your spindle, you won't get very good traction. So things you can do to get better traction is you can spit on your hands. A lot of people do that. The thing that works best is using pine sap. Using sticky pine sap, rub it on your spindle. It gives you really good grip. And the last thing you can use is the white ashes from a fire. They'll give you almost like chalk and give you extra friction as well. And like it's a little bit hot today, so my hands are a bit sweaty. So I'm gonna have to rub some mud or something on my hands to get some extra friction. I'm going to use the bow drill type technique today. I've already got my bird nest ready. You want to make sure you have your bird nest ready before you do this. There's also a technique called the float technique. It's where you float on top of the spindle like this. That way you don't have to go down the spindle, stop, come back up. That way you've got constant friction on your spindle. Also with that technique, you can use a lot shorter spindles. You don't need a giant spindle like this one. Now when you're drilling, like I said, you want to use the full length of your hand, and you want to keep your forearms basically parallel to the ground, like this. Because if your arms and your hands end up pointing down like this, it puts a lot of strain on your shoulder muscles. I like to kind of keep my elbows kind of tucked in, my body over the spindle, so I put down more force. Okay. It's a little bit humid today, but I think we can get this going. So we're gonna give it a shot real quick. I'm using the full length of my hand. In my first 3 or 4 passes, I'll just warm the board up. I'm not going real fast. I'm not putting a whole lot of downward pressure. That's about my 4th pass. Then I'll start going for it. You'll stop carefully. And you want to pump your spindle inside your hoe, because that forces heated air into your ember. We've got an ember because it's smoking on its own. tap it out. Normally what I'll do is I'll keep some punk wood on me. So I can add the punk wood to the ember to help it grow, make a very more stable ember. I've got some dried grass and cedar bark here. Just want to set it and let it smolder for a second. The longer it burns, it'll kind of coagulate into a more stable ember. If you jump out too quick, you'll blow it and knock it everywhere. We can try it real quick. I like to let the ember just sit in the bird nest for a minute, just kind of heat up. And you want your back to the wind. You want your hands underneath your tinder bundle, and you want to blow up. You can turn your tinder bundle upside down because fire likes to climb. Like I said, guys, with proper technique and skill, this can be possible. But it's a steep learning curve. The more you do it, your hands, the skin on your hands will become thicker, becomes a lot easier. And I appreciate you joining for this video. Thanks for watching.